Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my detailed long-term review of the AGV K1 motorcycle helmet. Now, I've had this helmet for about 2 seasons. I bought it kind of in a rush. It's been actually a great helmet. I've been looking at a couple other helmets right now, and I thought, you know what? I never got around to doing a review on this, didn't even do an unboxing. So with this helmet, I wanted to give you guys a detailed review because they just came out with the K1S, and it's essentially the same helmet, and honestly, it's a phenomenal helmet. So in today's video, we're going to talk about a couple of things. We'll talk about where this helmet kind of sits, how it compares to other premium helmets on the market. We'll compare it to other helmets that are more baseline. AGV is a premium brand, so compared to other like baseline helmets that are in this price range on the market. We'll talk about the weight of the helmet. We'll talk about on the track, because that's really where I use it. We'll talk about how it fits on the street. We'll talk about ventilation. We'll talk about the materials on the inside, the comfort of it. We'll talk about overall styling, all of that. And we'll talk about some of the things that came in the package. So without further ado, let's get into this review. All right, so let's get down to why I even chose this helmet in the first place. Prior to this helmet, I was using a Shoei RF 1200 that I had, honestly, I think for about 10 years. Was a great helmet. The RF series, the 1200, for those of you who have it, you know it's a very light helmet. It is a very quiet helmet. It vents. It does everything well. It has a small shell, so for two-up riding, it's great. For the track, it's great. You don't look like a bobblehead. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this review again is because a lot of people who I saw reviewing this helmet before I bought it, they really came from cheaper helmets. And so I had a very different experience than a lot of what was said in the reviews. And so you're getting my take coming from a Shoei RF 1200, which I paid at, I want to say like $600 for 10 years ago, to a helmet that cost $250. So definitely went from more premium. The equivalent of a RF 1200 would be the Shoei RF 1400. Something that in the AGV line that compares to that would more be like the AGV Corsa, which I don't even think they make anymore. So really more like the K6S. This is the cheapest helmet, the cheapest sport bike helmet in the AGV line. So it's definitely a different tier, but I'm going to compare it to the Shoei because that's what I had before. And so now you'll be able to get really what this helmet is about. Now, the thing about this helmet is it basically looks like a Pista, which is a $1,500 to $2,000 helmet from AGV. This is the only helmet outside the Pista that's going to look like the Pista. The K1S is basically the same helmet, looks like that, but the K6S does not look like the Pista, not as much as this does, with the massive spoiler at the back end of it. The Pista spoiler is a little bit bigger, sits a little bit lower, flows super well. So that was one of the things that for the racetrack, I wanted something that was super slippery. And I've been doing a lot of street riding as well. So let's talk about the looks. The looks, it's just a phenomenal looking helmet. In the K1, you get so many different colors in this model, more than I think any other of the AGV helmets. And they are phenomenal Rossi colors. So they did that series. I think that's why they're selling a lot of them. And I went with the Magello helmet, which I absolutely love. The other cool thing about this helmet, when you think about helmets in this price range or cheaper helmets, you can actually get different visors. So you can see I have the blue tinted visor. I will show you how easy it is to swap because I'll show you some other visor things on it. But really wanted something that was mirrored, that really went with the look, and I had my choice of options. This visor I think cost me about $80. It can be hard to find. It says it's for daytime use and for track use only. I definitely use it on the street, but only use it during the day because it's really tinted. As you can see, it's mirror. You can't even see through it. Now, sticking with the visor, the other premium thing that I was not finding in helmets in this price range or cheaper was I absolutely wanted a pin lock. I had a pin lock on the Shoei and my other helmets. It absolutely is necessary to reduce fog when you're riding at different temperatures, when the inside of the helmet gets hot, which this helmet doesn't, but it's something that I needed. And so this was almost one of the cheapest helmets I could find that had a pin lock and different selectable visors. I talked a little bit about the airflow of this, and this helmet flows better than the Shoei, to be honest. It's got several vents on the front. And so again, these are inspired by the Pista. If you look closely, you can see the 3 vents. You've got this right side vent, which these are really easy to flip up when you have gloves on. Now without it on my head, it feels a little bit funny, but you've got the right side vent, you've got this center vent, super easy, and then you've got this left side vent, which is really easy as well. And so this flows really well. You've got these three at the top. At the bottom here, you have one for your chin as well. This is inside the helmet. This, I love how it looks because it makes the front of the helmet look so sleek, but it's kind of hard to use. Now on the other side of the chin curtain, you'll see it has a little slit in here for you to stick your finger in. So when you're wearing the chin curtain, you can actually, flip the vent open or closed. I like how it looks, but functionality is a little bit hard to use. But honestly, I almost never have it open. When I do, it flows massive air. Now something that you don't have. So one of the things that you give up on a helmet this size, this basic basically, is that you don't have something that actually vents the visor. The pin lock works amazing, so I've never even needed a visor vent on this. Maybe that's why I don't have it. But you do have kind of a micro opening here. That's what this is. This is actually not a latch, it's just a micro opening for the visor that is going to let it vent a little bit. This is actually much harder to use than you might think. And it might be due to the visor mechanisms that I have in here, which it came with a couple extra. Again, I'm gonna get to that. So the other thing with this visor, again, when you think about a helmet in this price range, is it doesn't lock. It does close. It has the detentions in there so you can, hear it. This is the first one. This is the second one, third one, and then fully open and fully closed. So it doesn't have a lock. It does stay closed even at high speed. It stays closed. I want to say on the Shoei that I had, it used to lift a little bit. You would hear it depending on how fast you were going. This one stays closed, but having a locking visor would actually be a little bit safer for you in the event of an unfortunate crash or somewhere where you went down. But again, I've never had any problems with this. I've obviously never went down with this helmet. So I'm gonna do a quick visor change on this so I can talk about the mechanisms that are really hard to see right now. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do this visor change. Hopefully I can draw a camera for you so you can see it. I actually made a video about how easy it is to change, so you can check that out because you're probably not gonna get a good angle of this. But that's it. That's how easy it is to take out. You can see the pin lock that's in this visor. I'm gonna talk about that when I put the other shield on because there is something different about this pin lock versus some of the other helmets that I've had. Here's my clear visor. Also, I've got pin locks on everything. This helmet does not come with pin locks, so I had to buy 2 extra pin locks. Each of those are $35. It only came with the clear visor. So let me go ahead and put this one on. That side's in. You absolutely have to love how easy it is to switch visor. So there it is. How long did that take? Like 5 seconds to switch the visor? Okay, so now you can see this helmet more up close in detail, and you can see the pin lock. So right now you can see with this helmet, the pin lock, there's actually between the helmet shell and the pin lock, there's a space. And when you're riding on the track especially, that line is right in your field of vision when you're in a tuck, right? And you're trying to look straight. So it does, for visibility, I mean, the visor itself has great visibility. I can see a little bit of my brow in a tuck, but this line is very disruptive. It's almost right in my eyesight when I'm in a full tuck on my bike. So that's something there's some other helmets that you're considering. Definitely think about where the pin lock is. If it was a wider pin lock that went up, I would like that a lot better because then it wouldn't be in my field of vision. Now, here's what I talked about, how you can customize the detentions on the visor. Now, remember, there's one, that's the first opening, which is not really a vent. The Shoei had a closer micro opening. 2, 3, and fully open. Fully closed, you can still do the micro venting like this. Now, that doesn't really work. It doesn't really stay. So there are different mechanisms that this helmet comes with to replace this small red part that you see right here. Now, this is called the touring one. The red one is the touring one, has those detentions. This is the urban one. This is gonna have the same detentions plus a micro opening. So you can probably get that micro venting like that, that you can use to clear the fog on the visor. And that's something that honestly I would use but I don't like that it's green and the rest of the mechanism is red. I just feel like that it looks a little janky. So I didn't use it. It also comes with a blue one. Now this is called the racing mechanism, and this one just has open and closed. It doesn't have any of the detentions in the middle. And so again, blue is a little, I guess it's a little better than green, but it still just clashes with the red. I wish you could swap out the entire color. That would make it a lot easier for me to use the one that I actually want. But it does come with these, which I don't know of other helmets, certainly in this price category, that come with different ways to customize the detentions on the visor. This is a medium small helmet. It's my size for the most part in AGV. And what it says on the back is 1,600 grams plus or minus 50 grams. And so that probably is due to the fact that there are 2 shell sizes with this. And so what they do with the helmet, with helmets is you've got different sizes, right? You've got extra small all the way through 2XL. Now, your more premium helmets, like the Shoei, they'll probably have 4 shell sizes. They'll make up those 6 or 7 sizes with 4 shell sizes, and then they'll use internal liners to make the helmet fit a little better. With some of these budget helmets, they'll use 1 shell size, and they will then use the inside to make the size a little bit more fitting. Now, all these helmets will be rated for certain safety ratings, but what that'll do is, honestly, from my experience playing football and what I know about helmets and consulting for helmet companies, is that you want the smallest shell size with the padding, and here's why. So with the way the tests run, yes, it's certified, but the smaller the shell, the less likely you're actually going to hit it against something. So you think about an object, coming and hitting your helmet. The bigger the shell, the more likely it's going to hit, the more force it's going to have on there. So regardless of the rating, you want the smallest shell size that you can have. So this only comes in 2, which is a great thing for a helmet of the size, which means it's going to be a much safer helmet. It is ECE rated and DOT rated. The ECE rating is a very good rating. You want to have that for a street helmet. You want to have that, honestly, for a track helmet. Now, if you're racing, you might want something that is also sharp rated, like a 5-star sharp rating. I believe this is actually 4 stars, so still a great racing helmet. But you also may want something that's FIM certified as well. But regardless, you've got ECE, you've got DOT. Now, I've heard it was 4-star sharp. I don't see that on here, so but that's what I've heard. And in my research, it was hard to find. Didn't see it on the AGV website, but that's what everyone says. Fit. This is intermediate oval, common American head size. Again, if you're watching this video in America, you probably know that. This fits really well. What I had to do to customize the fit, and something that I like, is I went with the medium small. Now, the cheek pads were very tight on me, but they broke in very quickly and got just a little bit loose. So I went ahead and I purchased a small size cheek pad, which is a few millimeters in difference, and it makes the world of difference in this helmet. Because it's the same shell size as the small and the medium small share a shell size, it easily fits in, and that way I can customize the helmet. So I've got a medium small shell, I've got a medium small center pad, and I've got a small cheek pad, which really beefs up the side and just makes me feel a lot more secure with this helmet. From a weight standpoint, with all of this in it, with the new small cheek pads, which again are probably going to make the helmet a little heavier because they're thicker pads, this was still under 1,600 grams. Let's talk about the interior of the helmet. So something else you're going to see in budget helmets, this is a budget helmet, again, when you think about the AGV line, but certainly not cheap at $280. But when you think about budget helmets, the interior is somewhere where you're going to see some of places where they kind of go a little bit more cost efficient with the materials. And this is no different. Certainly when you compare this to a K3, a K5, a KS, or a Pista, the interior does not feel as plush and as nice. Now the Pista is a little different because it seems like a race material, but the K3, K5, and KS just are super comfortable. They're super soft. They feel plush when you touch it, when you put it on. This seems like a much cheaper but sweat wicking material. It just doesn't feel as plush and nice, and you definitely feel that right away, especially when you compare it side by side. But nonetheless, it does feel comfortable on the head. It is, again, a super light helmet compared to those other ones. Those are more touring. This is more of a race helmet. It is built like a race helmet. It's noisy like a race helmet. All those other reviews that say that this is a quiet helmet, it's not. It's so loud. It's the loudest helmet I've ever owned. But again, it's a race helmet, and it's even loud with all the vents closed. So just know that if you're thinking about the K1, this is going to be a loud helmet. You should be wearing earplugs. It's great for the track because at the track, of course, I'm always wearing earplugs. But there's been an occasional ride where I forget to bring my earplugs, and it's just absolutely, it's hard to ride, without earplugs with something like this. It is eyewear compatible, so you definitely can wear glasses with this helmet. It definitely has a cutout for it. I haven't tried it. I don't prefer to wear glasses, wear my contacts, but it does have the cutouts. And then it does also have pods for communication. Let me see if I can take one out. The cutouts are there. Again, I don't have any communication. I'm more of a purist when I come to riding. Certainly not on the track am I using any type of audio communication system, but it does have the cutouts for that as well. So this is very much a helmet that can be used both in the street, touring, road trips, as well as the track. And I think that's one of the reasons that make this such a great helmet. I honestly have not found a helmet that is so versatile that also is so inexpensive as well. All right, so that is the video. The last thing for me to do is I'm gonna put this on so you guys can see how it looks both with the clear visor and with the tinted visor. You can see the size of the helmet in relation to my body. Again, 2 shell sizes. This is the smaller one, a medium small. If you like this video, be sure to check out my other videos, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time.